In the last video, I tried to work a spray gun. I steal my partner's hairdryer. And I give my bumper chicken pox. And we finished the last video with all of the removable parts for the van in primer, ready for base coat and lacquer. And now, in part 2, the scary bit. Okay, so that's the first. The base coat is down. Everything's got good 2 coats. I thought I was going to run out as I started this, well, just before the second coat, so I went into a bit of a panic. As it turned out, I had enough, but I started thinking about the bumper and the fact that I'm going to have a cover on the top of it, so I wasn't bothered with double painting this or putting a second coat on the top half. And then when I realised I did have enough, I did sort of the grille, because the grille is so difficult to get paint into. I kind of decided to give this a 3rd coat. And then I thought, Christ, I've actually got enough paint, I'll do the top of the bumper. So I went over that as well. But I think on the whole, it's come out pretty good so far. It's been about 20 minutes. So now I'm going to mix up some lacquer and try not to make any runs. So the first coat of lacquer, and things are looking good. It's building me full of confidence. It's starting to really come together now, and yeah, already it's starting to look pretty shiny. Right, so it's about an hour later. Done the second coat. I didn't film it because, well, everything was sticky, and I didn't really want to get the camera too sticky, or my phone as it is the camera. But yeah, it's such dry now. The finish has come out pretty good, to be honest with you. It's not got much in the way of bits in it, just a tiniest little bit here and there. Yeah, I've been very pleased with it actually. I think it's going to be pretty good. Okay, so moving on to the next job, bonnet. Now this was in a state, in fact it still is, but it's edging closer to perfection. We hope. There's so many stone chips in it that the only thing I could do really was to really hit it hard with a coarse 180 and take out some of the bigger holes in the bigger chips. Although they look quite bad, you can't really feel them, which is good. Then I've gone over it with a 320 hand wet sand, and that's took out most of the big scratches. So I think we're ready now for some high build primer. So I'm going to give it a couple of thick coats of high build, and then tomorrow this should be ready for priming, ready for sanding rather. But while I'm here, I keep staring at these headlights, and they are really milky, or at least this one's the worst. The other one's not brilliant, but I thought if this van's going to look great, the headlights are going to need to as well. So I've been and done, I put a 240 pad on the DA, and I've hit this hard, which is basically taken off all the horrible stuff, which has returned it back to white. So it's taken the protective layer off that the manufacturer put on there originally, which is good. So now I'm going to go over it with some 800 and try and make sure I don't have any scratches visible, just so it looks foggy. Give it a chemical clean with some panel wipe, and then that will be ready to lacquer either when I do the bonnet, or if I choose to mix them up and put it in the gun beforehand. So rinse and repeat on the other side. Yeah, edging closer. So the time is 8 o'clock in the evening, and I have been at this van for 11 hours, and I have basically only done sanding today. Let me show you what I've been doing. It's this bonnet. It had lots and lots of little stone chips. It's not 100% perfect, but diminishing returns here. I've just, yeah, I'm gonna live with what the outcome is on this one, I think, because I don't think I'm gonna get any better. But this day's worth of sanding is equated to one side and the bonnet. That's it, basically. Christ, I don't know. It's quite therapeutic. I don't do it, obviously. So something sat on this seat here, just going at it with the DA all day. Yeah, it was all right. Headphones on, but it was rough. It's obviously been painted before. There are areas that have got the lacquer area has come off. I can't get rid of it, but I can make it so you can't feel it, so it is smooth. There is this kind of, I don't know if you can see it with the camera, but there's this orange peel. Now, you can go over it really quickly with a sander, and then you end up with that. And I'm not sure what that equates to when you put the base coat and the lacquer on. So my feeling was I need to make it really flat. So that's what I've done, and that's why I've taken so long with this, because yeah, I've missed a bit here, but I've done the whole of this side. And with the DA, you put a new pad on. Let me show you some of these pads. I've gone through a fair few of these, and they're 600s. They last for about 30 seconds, and the first 30 seconds they really do a fantastic job at taking off, like making it sort of properly flat. There's no kind of orange peel effect or anything, but after that it just their work is done. And Christ, after that you kind of like burn it off. You don't really sand it off. There's no dust involved or anything, whereas the first 30 seconds is a hell of a lot of dust. But ultimately it's kind of done. And then I've obviously bagged it up. This cellophane plastic, whatever it is, again, I've seen this on YouTube research and everyone's using it, and I thought, I'll grab a roll of that, and Christ, yeah, brilliant. You just literally lay it right over the vehicle and then cut out the area that you want to concentrate on, and job done. And so that's what I've done. I've wiped it down 2-3 times now with panel wipe, because obviously the scourge of the painter is contamination, whether it be foreign objects floating into it or like grease and sort of debris that's already on the surface. So I hope it's clean and the paint will go on all right. So we're about to find out, because I think I'm ready to paint. At least I think I am. Okay, so quick update. This is, I don't know what day. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's a Thursday night or evening. I've been sanding the other side. I got as far as the side loading door, but the side loading door, the repair that I've done on it, let's spin the camera, still needs some work and tweaking, so I've got some fine filler or putty on there which I'll sand down. Yeah, it's coming all right. It's some parts of it are easier to sand than others. A bit further. Some parts of it I think have been resprayed, and they've kind of been quite easy to sand, and then there's other parts of it have really been a labour of love. But tonight I'm concentrating on the lights, so I've given them another clean. They are prepped to 800 grit, and I've done the back ones as well. Now I'm just going to load the gun up and then lacquer them, and hopefully give them a couple of coats of lacquer. Hopefully they come back to looking like new, but I have not done this before, so if it doesn't work, then it's going to be, well, I've got to buy 4 lots of lights, which I don't really want to do. Anyway, I'll stick you on a stand, tripod, and then see what, let's see what happens together. So here it is. I'm not sure yet what footage of it I actually got, because I kept forgetting to turn the video on, and then when I did turn it on and I'd finished, I looked back and the camera had died. So apologies if I don't get much of it. It might not have been interesting to you anyway. The lighting, although the lighting's not too bad in here, it's not enough for spraying, I don't think. I think I need lights sort of on the walls, kind of, because I can't see below this level here. I can't see what's wet and what isn't. So that's why if you do have any video and you see me scrolling on the floor, the reason is I can't see how much I've applied. And so, yeah, if there are any runs, I've not seen them yet. They've obviously got bugs in it, but not as much as the first part. The other side, I got 2 huge flies that got in it, but unfortunately that's about it. I think this side actually on the whole has gone a lot better. I think I'm a bit more confident, and it's, yeah, and also letting that second or the first clear coat go off, I gave it 40 minutes, a good 40 minutes, so it was really kind of well sticky, and that second coat I could lay it on really quite thick without it risking going like running, and I think that really does help. And I know other people on YouTube professionals, not like me, they always recommend that you do a sort of 3/4 wet coat for the first and then lay it on fairly really clear, really thick for the second one. So there we have it, all fitted, both sides. Pretty happy with that. Okay, so here we have the next treat for the van. These side bars. I have absolutely no idea how they go on. So I'm going to have to scout around underneath the basic under here. I believe, and the only thing I do know is that there are provisions for these already. So I guess every shell comes out the factory as potentially a sport line, because the sport line has these, which is great because I don't want to be drilling anything. But there is plastic covers underneath, so I'm guessing we're going to need to cut them. But anyway, I'll see what I can find and report back. Well, I'm forward on about 5 minutes from my last communique and not starting well. Snap that off. 8mm bolt. I hope that's the only one I do. Okay, so we're about an hour on from the start of this part where I'm trying to fit these sidebars, and to begin with I had absolutely no clue what I was expecting or how I was going to do this. Now I feel a little bit more confident and I can let you guys in on it. Basically what I've had to do is release the plastic cover, which I think I said already. I thought I was going to have to do that. That was with mixed results. First bolt snapped off. The rest of them, bar one, worked or came undone. Then when I was getting a bit cocky and a bit confident, I got to one that was incredibly rusty, and so much so when I put the socket on it, it just crumbled. So I went down to, it was an 8mm, went down to a 7mm. That wasn't having it, and I didn't even try. Moved on to the other ones, got them all off, and they were great. Kind of pondering what the hell I was going to do. Went back to it again with the original 8mm, thinking this is just pointless, and lo and behold, it undone. So yeah, so I got it all off, and this is basically what I ended up with. So, excuse the shoddy camera work. I'm not sure if you can see this or not actually. Let me just get light on it. Ooh. Right, so what we have here is the bracket, and again, no instructions whatsoever with this, so this is what I think it goes like. It seems to work. The holes line up. I don't know what I was expecting, and before I took the packet with like this, I've got a packet of bolts here. I didn't even look in it. I saw these things after, thinking, oh Christ. Then realised actually what you get here is you get holes pre-drilled or pre-made into the body, but that's it. There's no thread or anything. So you have to sort of push these up into the hole, and then sort of they sit there, and then that is what you screw down into. So it's sort of, yeah, it kind of works. A little bit tight at the front end. The back, which I haven't actually done yet, but the holes are, there's a lot more room. Excuse my camera work again. But yeah, the holes are sort of, there's a lot more room up inside the hole. Anyway, enough talk. Let me get the back bracket in, and then see if I'll just mount up the bar and see if it sort of, well, hopefully it fits. Okay, some more fun stuff to do. I've got the rear door spoiler put on, and according to the site that I got them from, did come with some screws, or bolts rather, However, they just look quite implausible how you get them in there without really hacking away at 2 layers and kind of having to make a big hole for this in the inner skin and a smaller one on the outer one. So I emailed the company, the website, and they said don't do any of that. Ignore the fixings inside the ignore basically anything that's in the box apart from the sponge, and use some of this stuff. So I bought, on their site it was like £9, which I thought was reasonable, but then it was like something ridiculous to send it cost wise. So in the end, Amazon. And then yeah, so basically that's what it's got to be apparently: polyurethane, sealant and adhesive. And my plan is I've dry run here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the sealer inside the black sort of rubber, and then I'm going to clamp it in place with a couple of clamps on each side until it's set. And apparently that's all you have to do. We'll see. So it's final coat, and it's gone down pretty good. Really thick. I pushed my luck with it, if I'm honest, and probably because it's just a wheel, so you know, time it's covered in dirt and everything, you're not going to notice it. But I think being brave has paid off. Yeah, still very wet, so I'm going to call it a night, and tomorrow we'll see what it looks like, I think. 6 weeks ago that I decided to take on the most ambitious project for the channel that I'd ever done, and that was to respray my 2004 Transporter T5. I was very nervous about doing it, and I went through a lot of pain to get there. However, well, I'll let you judge the results. I'll give to you my Transporter T5. what do I do now? There's still much work to be done on the van, but most of that's on the inside. I've got some hoop roof lining to do. I've changed the seats over, maybe recarpet the back of it. I don't know yet. If you're interested in seeing any of that, please comment down below. However, there is a project looming that may be of interest. You see, now that I've taken a spray gun to this, I've got the bug, and there is a candidate that I have in my possession that is in more of a need of a respray than the van ever was. And well, let me show you that now. So I think you'll agree that the car is in desperate need of a respray. There is absolutely no amount of polishing or buffing or cutting that would bring the paint around for that car. There's rust, the wings need replacing, there's filler in the rear wheel arch, there's damage on the bumpers. It's going to take a lot of work. However, because it's in such a bad state, I really want to give it a go, because I know that the worse it looks, the better I can make it look, if you know what I mean. If you do a car that doesn't look too bad to start with, you're kind of wondering, you know, is it worth it? But this one I think definitely is. It's a good, reliable car. It's done a lot of miles. However, it's a car we could jump in and drive anywhere and know it to get there. So if you're interested in watching a video on that, please message down in the comments, and I will compile one when I get to it in a few weeks. So that's it really. It leaves nothing more for me to say. Thank you for watching. It has been a great success, these 2 videos on the van. I have been very surprised by the popularity of it, and so I can only thank you for it, and thank you for all the likes. If you want to consider subscribing and seeing some of the other projects that I have underway, then please do. If you're interested in go-karts, click on the link top corner, as I've done a couple of those as well. Lots of little projects going on. I've got a lot up here still to make and do, so stick with me, and hopefully I'll see you soon in the next one.